Hey, welcome back to the Cyber Apocalypse 2025 stream. WJ Pearce here. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite CTF challenges from last year, Unbreakable. Now it's Python based and we're going to be exploring how eval can be potentially dangerous and how hackers can exploit it to read files. We're going to take the source code and really analyze it and break it down step by step so we can understand how it actually works and not just focus on getting that flag. Okay, let's jump into it. Okay, so we're on the CTF part of the Hack the Box website. We've come down to MISC and Unbreakable, which is the challenge we're going to be solving today. We've launched our Docker container, which has given us our target IP address and our target port, so we don't need to run an mmap scan here. And we've got a bit of a description and perhaps a little bit of an upcoming hint into what this challenge entails. So think you can escape my grasp? Challenge accepted. I dare you to try and break free, but beware, it won't be easy. I'm ready for whatever tricks you have up your sleeve. So that gives us a little bit of a clue about what this challenge is about, perhaps. So we come over to Pawn the Box, or my Pawn Box even. It's the cloud machine that Hack the Box offer, and it comes with everything you need. I really like it because you don't need to faff around with a VPN connection. It's already got VS Code included, etc. And we are going to need VS Code installed here so we can analyze this source code. If you're just learning Python at the moment, or you're just learning ethical hacking, Python is a real key skill to have in your tool belt. So let's take a look at this challenge. We've already got our target IP address, and I've just put it in a notepad here just for ease, so I'm not having to flip back and forth between this and the Hack the Box page. We're going to hit it with a netcat, which is our favorite tool, and we're going to paste in the IP address, and then we're going to do port 38132, and with any luck, cool. Okay, so this tells us that the challenge is running and it's waiting for user input, so we are off to a great start. Now, this challenge, as we know, it's all about Python and it's all about eval. So we'll get to eval in a second, and we'll run over really what eval is and how it works within Python. But before that, we just want to make sure that this challenge is accepting Python as user input. Okay, so let's do a print, let's do parentheses, and then test. Now, we're on a Python shell. We would expect that this would print the word test. So let's hit enter. Okay, cool, right? What is going on here? So it's printed some ASCII art and it said naughty naughty. So potentially there's some sort of blacklisting going on. There's some sort of blocked words maybe. Why did it not print the word test? If we know that this challenge is all about Python, why has that not worked? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. So just quickly, if you've not heard of eval before, effectively eval is a built-in Python function that takes a string as an input and evaluates it as a Python expression. So I've written a little example here and I'll paste it over just so you're not having to watch me faff around and type this whole thing out. We've got a couple of variables, and then we're using the eval method. Now here, eval is the exact same as writing x times 2 outside of it. So, it's just a quick way to effectively refer to something. And as we said before, it's a built-in function that takes a string as an input. So as you can imagine, the output here is going to be whatever value is held in result. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a little open integrated terminal, and this is why I really like the pawn boxes from Hack the Box, because it already has everything you need. So yeah, you can install Python pretty easily, but do you want to be installing Python every time you spin up a virtual environment to do one of these CTFs? Probably not. This is why Hack the Box's pawn box is really good, because it comes with everything you need, and you can even save a bit of data locally as well, which is really cool for a cloud environment. Okay, so Python 3, hit a tab, and with any luck, cool, 10. So we now have a bit of a basic understanding of how eval works. We can see obviously that the value of x is 5, x times 2 is of course 10. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go back to our terminal, and now the challenge really is to find the source code. And when you're an ethical hacker, red teamer, penetration tester, whatever it is, you often have to use assumed knowledge when you're at the start. And that assumed knowledge often comes from your expertise in a certain domain. It often comes from previous engagements. And once you take that assumed knowledge to the CTF, to that engagement, you can kind of build up a picture of what parts are true and what parts are not. So with that assumed knowledge, we can maybe assume that a lot of people will name their main script main.py. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that we start searching for something called main.py. And I've got the command here to do that. And I'm going to paste it in so you don't have to watch me faff around and type it just for speed. There we go. Okay, cool. We have the source code. Now we need to find out how it's vulnerable, and then we can maybe get the flag. So Because it's kind of hard to read the source code within the terminal, I'm going to copy and paste it over to our IDE of choice, which as you can see is VS Code for me on this one. And it gives us a kind of a bit of a better, let me just remove this. We've got some cool ASCII art of some sort of Chungus bunny at the top. And then we've got the smiley face, which are the two banners. Now let me go back to this terminal for a second, because I really want you to understand how we found the code here. So this command opens the main.py file in read mode using that R, and it reads the entire contents using .read, the .read function effectively, and then it prints it out on screen. So that's all we're really doing here. Again, with these CTF challenges, don't just take my word for it. Take what I'm writing on the screen, pop open your own shell, try it out yourself. That is the way that you learn with these things. Okay, so let's start analyzing this code. We have a Python list here, and it's referred to as blacklist. So effectively, the blacklist, as we've said, is a Python list that contains the restricted characters and words. The script uses the any function down here to check if the blacklisted items are in the user's input. And if found, it prints the words naughty naughty and rejects the input. So we're just going to type anything here, and we'll put in 5, 6, as we can see, you know, some of them are in that blacklist here. Don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. I should use my cursor. So we hit this. There we go. Naughty, naughty, break me, shake me, because we've triggered this blacklist list, which is being, referred to in this while loop down here. So let's take a high level look at how the code works. I'm not going to break it down line by line. Don't worry. I really encourage you to pause the stream, get stuck in, rebuild this yourself. It's the only way you're going to learn. But effectively, at a high level, the user inputs a string via the input function, which is up here. The script checks if blacklisted characters exist in any form. If a blacklisted character is found, it prints an error and stops the execution. And if the input is valid, it gets passed to the eval function with the parentheses automatically appended, as you can see down there. If the eval function executes successfully, it prints what was that. So, you know, that's what we kind of want to happen here. And if an error occurs, it prints I'm unbreakable. So let's look at the blacklist again and really build up a picture of what we're not allowed to do here. So you can see that things like OS is blocked, things like system is blocked, things like import is blocked. So you're thinking, okay, well, there's some pretty integral Python not functions, but features there. So how are we going to do this? Even with certain characters being blocked, etc., how are we going to manipulate this Python script to get out the flag? Okay, well, let's think about what's not blocked. We can see that the term print is not blocked. That's pretty useful, right? You know, we can use that to potentially print out that flag. We can see that open isn't blocked, and you're starting to understand here that, you know, we could maybe open a file like we did to get the source code. We can see like the read function is also not blocked. So I'm guessing that between those three things there, we could probably try and work out a way to get the flag. So I've actually got the command already saved here, so you don't have to painfully watch me type it on stream. And we're going to click paste. Okay, cool. What was that? Break me, shake me. And what's that? I think that's a hack the box flag. Awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on here and really break down how this works. So the command opens the flag file in text in read mode using the R here, as you can see. It retrieves the entire contents using the read function, and it prints it to screen, revealing the flag. Now, since eval appends the parentheses here, adding a little hashtag at the end prevents just sort of any syntax errors, really. Okay, so that's all good. We've got the flag. But there's actually another way we can do this, and a way that probably mirrors how ethical hackers and red teams work, more true to life. So let's look at that way, because, you know, the point of these CTF challenges isn't just to get the flag as quickly as possible. It's to get them in a way that's actually going to teach us how ethical hackers work. So let's make a new file here, and we'll just call it test, because ultimately we're just testing something out here. Test, and we're going to paste in a Python script from one of the Hack the Box's official walkthroughs for the CTF. So we can see here that this is a Python script. And again, this is probably how ethical hackers would do it in real life, because it's all about speed. It's all about automation. You know, you might not have a nice environment where you've already got like a connected session, etc. So basically this script uses pawn tools, which is kind of like a go-to library for exploit development. And it first determines whether to run locally or whether to connect to a remote target based on the user input. Now, if running remotely, it takes an IP address or a port to establish a connection. Once connected, it sends that payload, executes Python on the target, specifically reading and printing the contents of flag.txt. So it does exactly what we've done. It just effectively sends that command, as you can see here, over to the target machine. Now, we didn't need to do this here because we're already on that target machine. We've already made that connection using Netcat. But imagine if we're in a real world engagement. That might not be the case. We might have to do something like this. So again, I encourage you to check out the official write-up. Take this code, rewrite it yourself, try and change it. Now, the reason why this works is because the target we're working with is likely going to have or be weak to input validation, allowing us to inject these commands here, which again, that's going to mirror real life far more than the Netcat session we've just opened. So if you've got the time, really encourage you to check out this method as well. So as is the case with these CTF challenges, if somebody on your team has already pawned the box, then you can't re-enter the flag because it's already come under solved. So it's not going to let me paste the flag in, but trust me, that is the flag. As you can see, we've seen it on the screen.
So when using eval, you want to make sure that you're never using untrusted inputs and you're only using a whitelist of allowed functions, of course, implementing proper user input validation. Okay, WJ Pearce here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the Cyber Apocalypse 2025 stream. See you in the next one.